Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. It's right now March 10th, 2023, around early morning hours here where I am in Tokyo, and I'm just looking online and seeing what's in the Blu-ray marketplace neighborhood, as it were. And I've come across, lo and behold, some very interesting, very interesting news from the Criterion collection. And I'm looking at the website right now. Again, it's the morning hours here in Tokyo, March 10th. And I see that Criterion has announced a box set. And this box set is, according to the website of Criterion, scheduled for release June 27th, 2023. And judging from the pictures that you can see on the Criterion Collection website, this box set looks very substantive and big indeed in terms of size, dimensions, and it's given a spine number of 1182. And this is very interesting indeed, my goodness. And it is called, wow, Pasolini 101. Pasolini 101. So Pier Paolo Pasolini box set is coming to the Criterion Collection. Again, scheduled for release June 27th. Wow, this is really wow. This is incredible news. This is incredible news, and it's a Blu-ray set, I should point out. So we have 9 films that are going to be included again in this Blu-ray set, according to the Criterion Collection website. Once again, I strongly urge you, my dear friends, if you are interested, please check out the website directly for more information, and I'm sure, where necessary, it might get updated between now and the release date. So I would encourage you to always check back with Criterion's site directly for more information. But as far as things look right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 films included, plus a number of special features as well. And so it looks like, wow, this is really including some short films as well. Wow, this is great. So the films are Akatone and Mama Roma and Love Meetings, The Gospel According to Matthew, The Hawks and the Sparrows, Oedipus Rex, Teorema, Porcile, and Medea. Oh my goodness! So these are the 9 films. These are the 9 films that are going to be included here. This is quite huge. My goodness, this is huge. This is big news. I just found out about this. I'm still in the midst of processing this information as I am absorbing it right now. But this is big news for a number of reasons. Okay, so let me try to process this. So first off, this is a box set. And as some of you may know, we have been, I guess for lack of a better phrase, we've been lamenting the fact that we haven't seen any box set news, like huge box set news of late. There have been some great collector sets over the past several months. Don't get me wrong. We've talked about so many great collector sets, such as my Zetterling set, Infernal Affairs from the end of last year. I'm about ready to upload discussions about Lars von Trier set, collector set. Also, other sets have emerged earlier this year, like the re-release of the Three Colors trilogy, etc. So there have been a number of sets, don't get me wrong, but we have not seen any type of huge box set of this sort. If you recall earlier, from maybe a few years back or a couple years back, there was the Agnes Varda set. Even before that, there was Godzilla, and then there was also the Ingmar Bergman set, as well as other big sets of large size, physical size dimension. The Olympic film set is on display here on the shelf, so that's another example of things that are these large, oversized things that are one of the great aspects of physical media collecting. We hadn't seen a set like this from Criterion in some time. So now to get this announcement in that way, I think is very exciting. It elevates the heartbeat, if you know what I mean, in a positive way. So that's one thing. It is a Blu-ray set, so it is a set that Of course, I forgot also the Wong Kar-wai set as well. That was something that we had seen earlier. It was this huge oversized thing, or the Zatoichi set from several years ago. But this is really cool. And I should also point out, too, that in the realm of box sets, sometimes, and I would say perhaps more often than not, it's the case where the box set itself doesn't get a SPY number. It's very interesting, therefore, that the website of Criterion indicates that this set, Pasolini 101, is going to get a SPY number 1182. So that's very much in keeping. For instance, I think the Ingmar Bergman box set didn't get a SPY number. I think the Agnes Varda set didn't get a SPY number. But there are other sets that got SPY numbers, like the Olympic film set, or also the Godzilla Showa era films set as well. That got a SPY number 1000, for those who recall. So this is in keeping with that line of large, oversized box sets, which will get a SPY number. So SPY number 1182. Very cool indeed. And it's going to get its own kind of packaging and a large, oversized book with, I'm assuming, a number of, it says, deluxe packaging, including a 100-page book. Wow, including featuring an essay and notes on the films by critic James Quant, and writings and drawings by Pasolini. This is incredible. This is really, really incredible stuff. I should point out that the films that are included here, this is really, really fantastic indeed. Some of these films have been released in Criterion Collection's catalog in the past, the physical media catalog in the past, like back in the DVD days. For instance, Mama Roma. Other films have not found a Criterion Collection physical media release, let alone a physical media release, say, in a Blu-ray fashion. Some of them have, I would say. Teorema comes to mind, but again, others have not. We have seen other labels. I would point out the great team at Eureka Masters of Cinema have done a really great job in releasing a number of these titles directed by Pasolini. But this is really fantastic. We're getting new 4K digital restorations of 7 films and 2K digital restorations of Teorema and Medea. So new 4K digital restorations for the 7 of the films. So this is, again, very, very exciting news. I have not heard anything. I haven't seen any of these restorations, so I don't know. I can't speak to the experience of watching these restorations versus watching, say, previous versions of these films. But in any event, this is these films by Pasolini are how can I express there is so much of a type of a rugged landscape on the one hand, and there's a sort of a way in which some of the films, including maybe the earlier films, have a sense of linking to a type of what one might call a heritage of Italian neorealism on the one hand, but then it links also to this ability of being very lyrical and very playful and very clever, almost on a literary status. That also has a biting, cutting edge to it, while also, I think, having a sense of true emotional soul and spirit at the same time, and a sort of biting, witty, comic edge that is also very true to heart and very, very much soulful. And I would point out among these films, I mean, like Oedipus Rex or Hawks and Sparrows or Gospel According to Matthew. In particular, Gospel According to Matthew, I remember the first time I saw that film. I mean, I saw a number of these films in college many, many, many years ago for the first time on VHS tape, for example. And among them was the Gospel According to Matthew, and it was another one of those really awe-inspiring cinema journey changing moments. So that's, again, part of the, I think, great conversation when it comes to the cinema and the everlasting artistic legacy of Pasolini. I should point out also that this is indicating 9 films, and it says Pasolini 101 as far as the title of the box set, which is an intriguing title. It's an intriguing premise. It's suggestive, of course, that it's not all-encompassing. I would point out that we are not getting all of the Pasolini-directed feature films as part of the set. But that's okay because, as some of you may also know, the Criterion Collection, indeed other labels too, but the Criterion Collection as an example, does make available some of the other Pasolini directed titles on physical media that aren't included in this set, for example. So, the Trilogy of Life comes to mind, or Salo comes to mind. But in any event, we have here, in particular, the final film by Pasolini, I think, gets a lot of attention, maybe notoriety or infamy, perhaps, from some circles, but also a lot of attention for a number of reasons. And I think that has a tendency, and I don't mean, I've spoken about Salo many times or on this channel. If you're interested, I have a video from some years back. But the point I wanted to bring up is not to take anything away from the points of that film, but I think that has a sometimes that has an effect of maybe drawing attention to the overall power and effect of that film, to the point where the discussion of Pasolini's other works earlier in his career sometimes doesn't get a lot of the attention in the room, as it were. Now, I think, therefore, a set like this, Pasolini 101, and the offerings that are being made, I think, is so welcome. And it's going to be, I hope, too, a reminder of just how varied Pasolini's feature film career really is in terms of the content. Well, also there is a type of through line that you can get as well. But there is also a varied nature to it that's also very reflective of the very complex artist that Pasolini was. So this, therefore, makes me very, very, very happy indeed. I am so thrilled by this news. The art looks cool. It has a sense of looking very similar, perhaps, to the artwork that was made on offer for the Ingmar Bergman set with the font, etc. So let's see if the continuity, through line in terms of the physical media dimensions and the layout and look will look the same when you have them lined up side by side. So this is very exciting news. Also, Pasolini 101. I'm very intrigued by this titling by Criterion. 101 is indicative of a type of classroom or learning setting. What is it? Film school in a box, I think, is often the phrase used to describe Criterion or other physical media labels that have all these features and supplements. But I think the 101 moniker, I think, adds to that reasonable description. This is something that we can also use to learn and to open ourselves and to have explorations in terms of our own cinema journey with respect to the films of Pasolini that are included here. And perhaps also this will lead us to further trajectories and other points of exploration should we find our curiosities piqued. So this is great. And that's part of the learning process, and that's part of the way in which this can be seen. Again, essentially a film school in a box, Pasolini 101. And also it indicates very slyly, does it not, the potential or promise for what other types of films, what other types of sets might be possible. Would it be possible, therefore, to think that there could be other 101 box sets beyond Pasolini 101? So think of a filmmaker that you might wonder, or you might consider would be, quote unquote, it would be fun to see a box set of in a similar nature, much like Pasolini 101 box set. So think of other filmmakers of promise in terms of the physical media offerings. So this is therefore maybe a sly and maybe subtle clue or hint as to what might come further from Criterion. Again, if a set like this is successful, then who knows what the future has in store. And if we can think of it optimistically, I think there is much potential indeed. Again, let us see what the set has to offer, and let us see how well it does in terms of sales, and let's see what the excitement and enthusiasm levels are starting from today and going into the release date and then beyond. I am, for one, very excited by this. This is very cool news indeed. Wow. Very, very cool news indeed. I'm just looking at the website now. It says, traversing the sacred and the profane, the ancient and the modern, the mythic and the personal. I like that phraseology from Criterion. Whoever wrote that, I think, is, that's very good. It's encompassing so much. I mean, there is a sense of modernity. There's also a sense of the of literary traditions, and Pasolini, I think, in a nutshell. I mean, so complex, it's perhaps impossible to describe. It's perhaps rude of me to try to describe who, a nobody, to try to describe an artist like of Pasolini's stature. It's very rude of me and very presumptuous of me to try to do so, and I apologize for this. And I don't mean any disrespect, but I just want to say again, in a very respectful way, I should say that this is a wonderful description, because if we can say anything about the artist Pasolini, at least as reflected in his films as I've experienced them, I always view him as being a set of contradictions. And the set of contradictions, when they collide with each other, they explode in a way that's fantastic, that is shocking, that's thought-provoking. And if one thinks that Pasolini's work is only Salo, then, Salo is a very overpowering work in and of itself, and I understand that feeling. But a set like this, I think, will show that there is much dimension. There is many facets of Pasolini's output that led up to, of course, that preceded that mid-1970s film. But this is also a way, I think, to show that there are ways in which there are connections to that work, and there's also ways in which we are, again, being reminded of the true full-bodied breadth and scope, and indeed, yes, contradictions within the entire body of work of Pasolini, as expressed at least in this very healthy representation of these 9 feature films, or these 9 films, plus other extras in this set. So I'm very, very thrilled by this. And could this mean also that we might get individual releases of these, at least some of them anyway? I mean, we didn't get individual releases of all the films in the box sets of, say, the Wong Kar-wai set or the Bergman set, but we did get some individual releases. So it might be fun to consider and ponder that as well. But in any event, my dear friends, this is very, 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 very exciting news. I'm so thrilled. I wonder what you think. Please feel free to let me know in the comments section below. And once again, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of you, your support and kindness, and your kind consideration and care and attention and thoughtfulness, and always showing me you're always welcoming me, and you're always inviting me to make a comment, or you're always asking about certain questions about cinema. So I want to say thank you so much for always extending to me your hand in friendship. And so right back at you, my dear friends. I'm always very humbled and very, very moved and honored that you would consider me your friend. So thank you so much for always thinking of me and this channel in that way. Especially, I know everyone is very busy with many matters in your own lives. So I consider myself very fortunate indeed to be able to speak with you and share a little bit of how I feel about this thing, which we all love, which is cinema, including the offerings from Criterion, including this news about Pasolini 101. So please, my dear friends, let me know how you feel in the comments section below. If you are not excited about this, if you're disappointed, that's fine too. Feelings of not being excited or feelings of disappointment, even criticisms, these are very important to express as well. So I'm very happy. I'm not here to try to say you must feel excited about this, or nothing of that sort. Your feelings are your own, and they deserve respect. I will certainly respect them, and I will certainly listen to them and read them. I might not always agree, but that's okay as well. I think I'm very happy to listen to them, because again, your views and your opinions are very important to me. Really, they are. And so even where we disagree, I will regard them with the utmost importance and care, because your views and opinions really matter to me. They really do. So please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But with that, my dear friends, Thank you, and we will see each other again. I know I've been a little bit maybe lacking in Criterion videos of late, but I haven't forgotten, and there is a number. I have a stack that I'm planning. I have, as I mentioned, the Lars von Trier set. Each of the films, it's on. It's ready to go for discussion, and then there are some other titles that have occurred up through recent titles that I just received in the mail. In fact, a day ago, so yesterday. So it's all good. So the Criterion videos are on their way. So, but until then, my dear friends, thank you, and have a great rest of your day, whatever the case may be, whatever time zone you are in, and we'll talk again very soon. Cheers.